Round number 2 of championship weekend action here at Marshfield High School, home of the 20th annual South Coast Holiday Tournament. Your Philomath Warriors will be taking on the Cascade Christian Challengers here in the finale of this amazing tournament that has been hosted by Marshfield. It'll be a critical test for Philomath that is no stranger to tests, as they've faced several battles throughout this tournament, taking on the number 2 team in the 5A classification in Redmond. They down them 50-42, and then they take on Junction City in a rematch of their opening night victory over the preseason number 1 Junction City was. And they defeated JC once again, 56-49, a much slimmer margin than before. And so in each of the last 2 games, the Warriors have let teams back in the fourth quarter, with last time the Warriors letting JC in 56-26. They held that lead. JC closed in and got it down to just 7 by the score finale. And for an update on the challengers, I'll be quite back, but as I will honor America quickly with the national anthem.
Let's meet the starters for the designated away team, the Philomath Warriors.
All right, back for the evaluation on how the challengers and what they bring to the table. They're coming off 2 wins as well, with their first win being a beatdown on Crook County, who visited from over in the northeast part of Oregon. And then their second win last night came over Hidden Valley, and they beat them by another pretty large margin, 61-39, the final in that one. And so they will try and challenge the Warriors tonight, as their mascot says to be challengers. Scouting the starting lineup, it'll be Jaron Frankowiak, and with his luscious locks and going out of the back of his head. Tristan Wallace, a forward senior, 6'1", and a shooter that the Warriors will have to look out for a strong mid-range game. Drew Hall, the 6'2" sophomore guard. And joining him in the backcourt will be Peyton Maurer, the brother of the 7-foot powerhouse Austin Maurer, who is listed as 7 feet tall on the roster.
Are you ready? It's time for a championship game. Here we go.
The final game of this South Coast Holiday Tournament. Ty May dapping up his teammates. One of the captains on this team. He'll sit center stage with the large 7-foot Maurer. Maurer wins the tip. Frankowiak, guarded by Kramer, a standout performer in last night's game and the win over Junction City. Drew Hall works on Cole Beardsley. He passes it over to Wallace. Wallace circling around is stripped away by Kramer, who already finds himself with the steal. He had several yesterday. Peters tries to find May inside and goes up to try and get the oop. And not sure if the officials will call a foul on the floor. It won't be a foul, but it'll go off the hands of the challengers. Chad Russell gets it at the right elbow. He gives it to May at the low block. He works on the undersized Maurer, Peyton Maurer, who only stands at 6'3", which is much shorter than his brother, who stands at 7 foot. Both are in 11th grade, though. Frankowiak swings it up top to Wallace. Wallace guarded by Peters, tips it away, and Warriors with their second tech away to start the first half. May on the fast break, lays it up off the glass. And the Warriors start off strong. 4-0 the lead. Hall swings it over to Frankowiak. Frankowiak guarded by Kramer. While the shorter Mar guarded by May. The Warriors overall have the size advantage, while the challengers may have their lone size mismatch in Austin Mar. 7 foot Oregon State offered not committed yet, but has offers from the hometown Beavs. But Philomath has their own share of college prospects as they have their first turnover of the game. This time May was trying to find Jacob Peters inside. Cole Beardsley and Ty May, each college hopefuls playing college basketball, though May has indicated he wants to play more college football. And the challengers, with their 4th straight possession, have their 4th straight turnovers. You can see the frustration and miscommunication. The Warriors defense challenging the challengers. Cole Beardsley, who has added double digits in every game he's played in this season, had a great day at the free throw line yesterday. Kramer, also a great day, drives inside, doesn't get it to fall. He had 7 points yesterday, but was not very efficient at the free throw line. We saw how critical free throw lines will be, as have made evident last game, where the Philomath Warriors girls came up short in overtime against Astoria. They fell in that one, 51-43, the final in overtime. The Warriors pick up their first team foul for either team. Is coming on Ty May. His first personal, of course. Marr, guarded by Russell, steps in and steps back to a 3. And it bounces over the top of the rim. It'll be called off. And Marr's diversified skill set can be potent from beyond the arc, although his height definitely serves him well in the paint. Chad Russell will be sure to create him havoc. Ty May equally as potent from beyond the arc with his size, playing advantage there as well. Marr taking up the court on Russell. Swings it to the corner. A 3 taken and made by Wallace. Challengers finally get on the board after nearly 3 minutes of game time elapsed. It's just under 5:22 left to play. Preston Kramer swings it to Ty May in the corner. Pump fakes. Circles around the edge. Gets it to Peters at the right elbow. Gives it up to Kramer on the near side. Peters drives in the lane. Floater. It's blocked by Marr. Hall working on Beardsley, has that strong fadeaway in the mid-range. Marr trying to reach over the top of Chad Russell, and he's called for an over-the-back foul. Tristan Wallace will check out of the game, and a new substitution coming in, Cannon Anderson, the 5'11 junior guard. May at the top of the key, gets it to the left elbow, and a nice backside cut by Kramer, his specialty. Lays it up and in. Hall crosses over on Beardsley to the left side. He drives. Beardsley playing tight to his hip. Marr from deep. Strokes it through. Gets his first points of the night. Beardsley over to Kramer on the near side. Back to Russell, who gets it, who rising up to get the pass as Peters, only where he could receive it. and uses his athletic advantage with his large hands as well. Former football player. I never nearly saw him drop a pass. Maurer in trouble, tries to dish it away. It's stolen from Anderson by Beardsley, and he'll take it up the court. Beardsley one-on-one with Hall, crosses over, steps into a three. He nails it in. Cole Beardsley, a lethal three-point shooter, and man, we saw him hit one in a crazy shot from the logo yesterday. They know he can hit it there, and the Warriors clap it up as Cascade Christian burns their first time out. Warriors with the 11-6 advantage with over 3.5 minutes left here in the first quarter. Warriors off to a strong start. Warriors playing well with lots of defensive pressure, forcing the challengers to commit several turnovers early on in this game. And you got to think that head coach Ryan Morsey is not too happy with that. The challengers will have the ball inbounding from the far side. It'll be Anderson who'll serve as the duties. And they'll get it into Hall. Hall receives it. Had quite a night last night from the mid-range. Was getting pretty much every shot he wanted. And so was Frankowiak, who had quite a few threes himself. He gives the ball up to Hall back at the top. Warriors working their 2-3 zone that has served them well against some top-ranked opponents in Redmond and Junction City. Frankowiak from deep. He's lethal from there, and he hits, making time pay as he points in the other way. Beardsley gives it off to Kramer on the near side. Back to May at the top. Swing it over to Beardsley. Quick release. He shoots and finishes it. Back-to-back makes from downtown from Cole Beardsley. Starting to heat up. Just came up short in the three-point competition in the overtime period, similar to how the girls of Philomath came up short in the overtime period as well today. A long-range three taken and banked in from a new substitution, Colson Brown. An off-balance shot. Falls for him. Warriors still in front, 14-12 with a little over 2 minutes remaining. Beardsley drives now to the rack, circling around. He draws Hall out of the baseline. He crosses over off the screen from Peters, swings it over to May on the far side, takes a deep three himself and rattles it in. Warriors finding fire from downtown early on. And when May and Beardsley, the two leading scorers of this Philomath squad, get going, they're hard to get off the scoring spree. Hall working off the screen from Maurer. Maurer from deep. Has his own abilities from long range. He hits his second triple. And it's looked like the three-point shooting contest has shifted into game mode. Now Russell working his low block moves over the top of the 7-foot Maurer. He drops it in off the glass. Hall circling around the Marshfield logo, guarded by Beardsley as the defender. Comes off the screen from Maurer. Drives to the rack and blocked by Chad Russell, slamming it to the glass. The big fella says, put some respect on my name. Not intimidated by this 7-footer, which has been his matchup assignment for today. Hall throws it over the top into Anderson at the left elbow, swinging it to the corner. Brown drives on May, swinging it to Anderson. Far side three contested by Peters. It's no good. Cole Beardsley comes up with the scramble on the rebound. Kramer on the near side. Hands it off to Beardsley. And with just under, little over 30 seconds left, the Warriors will seek to make their last shot of the quarter. Beardsley spin moves off, step back three, tough shot, and nearly put it in, but just short. Hall taking it up the other way, trying to go coast to coast on Kramer. Isn't able to get it go. It goes over the left side of the rim and goes into the hands of Peters. Warriors will get a second chance to end the quarter with a shot. Beardsley going to the right side. He's guarded, defended by the freshman, Derek Farmer. May, from that same spot that he hit earlier, misses. Scramble to the floor. Russell picks it up, and the clock hits 0 at the first quarter. Ty May unable to get the shot off in time, but the Warriors with a strong start coming out the gates hot from beyond the arc. Cole Beardsley with 2 triples. Ty May one himself, also working well in the paint. The Challengers, though, after a rough start where they had several turnovers, have climbed their way back in it with their own fair share of three-point shooting as well. Virtually all of their shots coming from beyond the arc, as Maurer has 2 himself, and Frankoliak has a single, as well as Brown, who hit an off-balance 3. So both teams are going to be shooting that shot. Got a lot of shooters in this one, and some physicality down low, as Maurer has diversified skill set, as I've alluded to. Very physical, strong handle, strong shot, strong post moves, and Chad Russell, Ty May, each with their own fair share of post moves. And don't count out Jacob Peters out of the mix. The strong rebounder has a great second chance looks and opportunities that he gives for the Warriors. The Warriors look like they'll start with the ball to start this second quarter. It will be with the Warriors, as Kramer will set to inbound to Beardsley. Beardsley working on Hall. He gives it up to Kramer, who's guarded by Frankoliak. Kramer driving, stopped at the block. He hesitates, tries to get it up. Rebound, gets his own rebound, kicks it out to May. He comes up short on his 3. And as I was just saying, Jacob Peters comes in with the second chance effort and gives the Warriors 2 points to add on to their tally. Frankowiak gets on the backside cut to Anderson, who drives in and lays it in on Russell. Excuse me, that was the younger Maurer getting his first points. Beardsley and Hall, 2 of the good shooters in tonight's matchups, matched up with one another. Beardsley dishes inside, and unable to come up with the shot is Peters, who's blocked by the elder Maurer, 7'1", of course. Frankowiak driving on Peters, loses it as Kramer comes up with the steal, has a lengthy arm reach and comes up with the steal, dishes to May inside, and his shot rolls around the rim and is rebounded after swinging around his elbows is Wallace. Wallace is fouled. The foul coming on Ty May. That is his second personal foul. Second team foul for the Warriors as well. Brody Bushnell coming into the game for Ty May, who will catch a break here quick. Bushnell, a strong contributor on the bench this season. Coming in, providing a spark defensively and offensively, can get his shot at times. Maurer gets his shot from the mid-range. It doesn't go off the back iron. Preston Kramer rising up and coming down with the ball. Beardsley on the other direction. Throws it over to Kramer on the far side. Kramer back to Russell. Back to Peters. Peters at the top of the key. Hands it off to Russell. Beardsley. And Kramer on the near side. Swings it over to Bushnell. Thought about a shot, and he knows he can take it. Peters nearly loses the ball, saves it, and throws it back in bounds. Bushnell giving it back to Beardsley, who will reset the offense. Beardsley comes off of Hall and gives it up to Bushnell, who's called for a travel as he took too many steps in the far corner. Getting the inbound is Hall. Hall throws it over on the edge to the shorter Maurer, who dishes it into his brother, the much taller one, who works his physicality over the top of two Philomath defenders and drops it in for two. He's racking up his scoring total thus far. Preston Kramer circling around. Dishes it to Beardsley. Beardsley into Peters. Peters blocked and denied by Maurer. That's the second time he's been denied by Maurer on the straight possession. Swinging it up the court, Hall gets it in the corner to Wallace. Back to Hall inside to Maurer. Maurer on the left elbow takes a dribble and drives strongly. He comes up short on his shot, and the other Maurer, shooting from deep, comes up short on the back iron, and Bushnell collects the rebound. Warriors lead 21-19 as Cascade Christian has closed in on the lead. Beardsley looking to break the scoring drought for the Warriors. Throws it over to Kramer on the far side, and stripped away. His pass deflected by Hall, intended for Beardsley. Two-person substitution for Cascade Christian. It'll be Anderson coming back into the game as well as Brown. Receiving the inbound is Chad Russell, who swings it back up to the top of the key where Cole Beardsley takes it, gives it back to Kramer, and Kramer has his reception ticked away, incomplete. Deflected by Anderson. Chad Russell getting it back to Kramer on the near side, handing it off, or fake handing it off. Using a lot of football terms right now. He gets it over to Bushnell. Bushnell swings it up top to Peters, and called for the offensive foul is called Beardsley. Beardsley with an elbow shove, as the officials called it. It's his first personal, the Warriors' third team foul with just 44 minutes left here in the first half. They hold a slim 2-point advantage. Anderson with the ball, tries to get it to Maurer. Trying to deflect it is Russell, who doesn't get it to go. Hall on the drive, floats that one in off the glass. We're all tied even, 21-21. So Beardsley up the near side. Wraps around, tries to come off the screen. Peters trying to roll. Kramer coming off the screen of Russell. And a hand check called on the young freshman, Derek Farmer, who had a couple of big shots last night against Hidden Valley to really create separation for Cascade Christian to help them advance to this championship finale. Beardsley crosses midcourt, guarded by Hall. He crosses over to his left. Chest passes over to Kramer. Dishes it over to Bushnell at the left elbow. Beardsley working. He crosses over, step back shot, thought about it, but it contested strongly. Peters on the drive now. Once again denied at the rim. And the Warriors having struggle getting offensive looks. A foul coming though, or an out of bounds call. It'll be out of bounds off of the challengers. A substitution coming. Hall will check out as Fonkowiak will check in. That could possibly give Beardsley a break. Kramer on the near side, giving it to Beardsley in the corner. He's guarded by Anderson as opposed to Fonkowiak. He drives baseline, is stuck there, throws it cross court to Bushnell. Over to the top to the Kramer. Kramer driving left side. Tough shot. Tips it up on the second effort and falls it through. On the court, Brown driving on the baseline. Swings it up top to Maurer. Maurer with the three. Sidestepping off the back iron. It's into the hands of Bushnell. Beardsley at the top of the key. Step back into that three off the back of the rim. Peters coming down with the rebound. Swings it over to Brody Bushnell, who now fires a three. It goes over the top of the rim into the hands of Maurer. Maurer swinging it up the court to Brown on the baseline. He's contested by two Philomath defenders, but manages to work his way through the air and drop it in for 2 points. 23-23, just under 2 minutes left to play in the first half. Warriors in a back and forth battle, but have yet to reciprocate their end of the battle as they've had little scoring here in this second quarter. Kramer looking to add to his scoring total. He drives to the rack and drops in a bucket that Philomath needs with the foul. The foul coming on Brown. He'll check out of the game along with the young farmer. And checking into the game back, it's Drew Hall, along with the younger Maurer. Caden Meir will check into the game as Brody Bushnell will take a seat on the Philomath bench. Kramer isn't able to finish off the three-point play. Nevertheless, Chad Russell comes down with the rebound and was called for the travel as he was trying to get over Austin Maurer. Maurer is such a dominating presence over the top of Philomath defenders. It's just hard for them to work through, considering he is 7 feet tall. It's tough for anyone. Maurer at the block with Frankowiak working around the arc. He settles at the left elbow. It's deflected by Peters, but into the hands of the younger Maurer, of the shorter Maurer, and just out of bounds at the near side corner. Anderson loses it, a turnover for the Challengers, who have not had nearly as many in the second quarter as they did in the first. Beardsley working off of Hall. He's trying to create space. Found a lot of it in the first. Hasn't so much in the second. Kramer has been the scoring effort and denied twice at the rim. He loses it. Has the second chance from beyond the arc. We'll see if he finds luck there, and he does. Kramer keeping Philomath's spark alive here in this second quarter. Tough to find luck in the paint where he usually drives. But Maurer, the dominating presence, stopping that. He finds luck from beyond the arc. Maurer, lethal from beyond the arc as well. He drives to his spot in the baseline. Now Chad Russell on the other end. Appeared to have a clean block, but the officiating disagrees. Calls him for a foul. Philomath fans booing throughout this arena. It's his first personal foul. The Warriors' fourth team foul. Maurer goes to the free throw line. Swishes that in. Maurer has yet to take a seat in this first half. Played a large majority of the minutes for the Challengers last night, not substituting out until the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. He misses his second free throw as the score is 23-29 with 30 seconds left. Clock's still running. We'll have to fix that. I have to add 3 seconds on the clock. It's at 26.3 right now. Should be at 29 or 30. The officiating discussing. As is Coach Ecker looking at his whiteboard, seeing a possible things to address at halftime for his team that has had a little bit of trouble working through this Challenger defense and finding their usual spacing, and that might be something that he would like to help his team out with, find that same separation that they had early on. But credit to the Challengers for adjusting throughout the matchup in this championship finale at the South Coast Holiday Classic Tournament. Jacob Peters, the inbounder for Philomath. 2 defenders for the Challengers, guarding heavily. The pass deflected on the inbound, but Kramer nevertheless gets it and gets it back to Beardsley at the top of the frame. Over to Kramer on the near side. Back to Russell over to Beardsley. Far corner shot. He gets the separation he needs and fires his third three-pointer of the night. Hall driving, clock winding down, blocked by Beardsley on the other end. Mamma mia, bust out the pizza and breadsticks. This guy is cooking. The Warriors go into the half with some strong momentum led by their leader and captain, Cole Beardsley, with a strong first half effort with 3 triples. The Warriors hold a 7-point advantage over the Cascade Challengers, who did give the Warriors quite a bit of a challenge in the second quarter. We'll see how the Warriors respond with a good response there by Beardsley and a great second half set to come here at the South Coast Holiday Tournament here on the Blake's Take live stream from Marshfield High School. We'll be back in about 10 minutes after the halftime concludes. We have a little bit of halftime fun with some youngins rocking a lot of different NBA jerseys, playing a little bit of 3-on-3. Right now, we're in a neck-and-neck 2-2 ball game between the youngsters at Marshfield. The Blazer on the far side drives inside. He's met by defenders. The Laker sidesteps and puts up a mid-range jumper. It doesn't go good, but his teammate, the Golden State Warrior, drives in and is blocked at the rack, though denied by Boston. The Laker, a long-range shot, goes over the top. It's rebounded by the Blazer. The Blazer working around the edge, guarded by Boston. The Warrior, hence not the Philomath Warriors, but Golden State. The Blazer shoots one from the right elbow. It doesn't fall. Just 3 minutes left of halftime for these youngsters to get it done. The Warrior drives. He loses it, scramble for the floor. He stays in bounds. Gives the Blazer a chance. He shoots one and puts it in. Damian Lillard with the shot. Oh, Derrick Rose for the Chicago Bulls driving on Damian Lillard. He backs him down, gives it up to Boston, who puts up the shot. It rolls off the right side of the rim. The Los Angeles Laker on the baseline, giving it to the Golden State Warrior. Circling it around, Klay Thompson. Up the top to Damian Lillard. Lillard crossing over. He puts up the mid-range jumper and banks it in. Dame time. Derrick Rose trying to find his prime again. His team down by 2 buckets. He drives to the rack and puts it home. The squad back in it. Klay Thompson gives it to Dame. Dame with the shot. Oh, just misses to the right. The Laker with the rebound, though. Kobe Bryant. Behind the back pass to Klay Thompson. He drives in and misses off the left side. It's into the hands of the Blazer. Damian Lillard. Oh, he nearly loses it, but he gives it back to the Warrior on the far side. He steps back. The Blazer from the left elbow shoots and scores. Damian Lillard on fire. Derrick Rose down 2. 1-on-1 with Dame. He crosses over. Oh, falls to the floor. Dame steals it away. Dame to the left. He's driving. Settles. Gives it to his Warrior teammate. Puts it up. Comes up short, though. And off to the hands of Derrick Rose. And that'll conclude it. The Blazer and the Laker and the Warrior, all from the Western Conference, win it. That'll do it for the halftime show. Good job by the youngsters, putting in some good shooting effort, and they meet the Cascade Christian players, high-fiving them as they come out of the tunnel. The Philomath Warriors scouting the floor as well, and fun little entertainment. Marshfield High doing a great job, and then credit to their athletic director for putting this all together. I'm so thankful that he has. It's been a great weekend here as a Warrior fan and Warrior announcer. I've had a pleasure meeting all the community and the festivities that are around here in Coos Bay, Oregon. What a historic place, historic people. Steve Prefontaine, the legendary figure, got to see the Hall of Fame area that is here at the high school. It's quite impressive, all the athletes that have come through this historic building. And what a historic building it is, standing with all its state championship banners surrounding. The Warriors with a lot of state championship banners of their own. They captured the Oregonian Cup last season with 3 state titles in 2022 and 2021. The boys soccer state championship, the girls basketball state championship that was right here in this gym, and then finished off in the spring with the girls track and field state championship. The Warriors will look to add to the list of championships captured at Philomath High School and add one to the trophy case. They're in good position right now with 16 minutes left of play as we begin this second half, as Marshfield will start with the ball. 31-24. The Warriors in the front. The inbound to Francowiak from Hall. Hall gets it to Maurer, the 7-footer. Gives it up to Hall. Back to Maurer. Guarded by Russell with his hands up in the air. defending. Maurer drives, gives it to his shorter brother. Over to Maurer from beyond the arc, and putting a hand up in his face is Chad Russell. It works effectively as the ball rolls out of bounds off the right side of the rim, and the Warriors will regain possession. Cole Beardsley taking it up as usual, had a strong finish to the first half with a block and a triple. He gives it up to May in the near side corner. He circles around the three-point line, gives it back to Kramer, another solid contributor, and that similar look that May had on the other end of the floor, it doesn't connect. He drives now off the assist from Russell. It's not an assist, and it's blocked by Maurer. Even May and Russell cannot overcome the height and dominance of Maurer. On the far side, it's the shorter Maurer. Back to the taller one. He puts up another three, has kind of cooled down from that area, has been more effective in his paint dominance and defensive paralysis. It'll stay with the challengers as Francowiak takes it out of bounds. Over the top, he gets it to Wallace, over to Hall. Inside to Maurer, guarded by Russell. He works into the key. He steps back, fadeaway shot, rolls around off the left end as May rebounds it. Beardsley crosses midcourt, throws it to the corner where Kramer is there. Into May at the low block. He's guarded by the shorter Maurer. He misses and claps his hands in frustration. Had a scoring lack here in this game so far. Hall misses the fadeaway shot on his end. Beardsley going the other way. Tries to get it to Russell, but it's taken away on the interception from Hall. Gets it to Francowiak. His float game's no good. May rising up and bringing it down. Beardsley with a left arm swing pass to Peters. Tries to dish it to May. He fumbles it, but gets it right back. Gives it up to Peters on the left side. Hands it off to Peters, who's guarded by Francowiak. Over to Beardsley, still on Hall. At the top of the key, it's Russell who loses it as Maurer flicks it away. Maurer in the corner. Pops a three from the corner. He misses it over the top. It's rebounded by his shorter counterpart. Hall drives. Gets it to Maurer. Maurer, shot in the key. No good, but not without a foul. A foul coming on. Number 53, Chad Russell. His second personal foul. The Warriors' first of the second half. 5:12 left here in the third quarter. Neither team to score quite yet. Maurer puts in a bucket. Couple of substitutions in for the challengers with Peyton Maurer and Francowiak checking out as Anderson and Brown check back into the game. Maurer sinks both free throws, cutting the lead to 5 for Philomath. Beardsley crosses the Pirate logo. He works on Hall, crosses him over, step back three, rattles in and out, nearly went in. Brown throwing it up the court on the fast break. It's Hall, but quickly recovering is Beardsley, who's there right on his hip. He guards him. Hall drives in the paint, fadeaway, turn-away jumper. It misses off the left side. Has not been nearly as effective as he was against Hidden Valley. Beardsley dominating the matchup between the two tonight. Chad Russell pump fakes a pass either direction, gets it to May at the low block, who fakes the shot and gets it on a nice pass to Peters on a line. He puts it through. Great pass by Ty May and great awareness. And a timeout taken by the challengers. First time out of the half, 4:19 left here in the third quarter. Warriors in front by 7, 33-26. And it seems like that the challengers are getting good open looks, or not necessarily. Maurer knows he can hit those from long range, and they've got a playmaker in Hall who drives to the mid-range, and you might not necessarily like what the shots that they are taking. Coach Morrissey figures. Philomath, on the other hand, doing a solid job of staying true to their offense, but I'd like to see some of their exterior offense come to life more, as it did in the first half. What a thriller that was in that first quarter. What a back and forth shootout between the two teams. It could come back to life here later on. We shall see. Each team breaks the huddle, and with the challengers set to inbound. Anderson being the inbounder to Hall. Hall circling around the arc. 3-point line. Throws it over the top to Brown. He nearly recovers it. Drives into the paint and puts up the mid-range floater, and it goes through. Brown contributing well off the bench today. 7 points tonight. Time A called for the travel on the far side arc, turning it over for the Warriors. And you can discover with this challenger defense, at least last night against Hidden Valley, they were very much antsy and often anticipated passes. They've done a little bit of that tonight, which has opened up the opportunities for the Warriors. Maurer backing down. Russell steps back and threads that one through the net. He's cut the lead to 3, putting the team on his back to say. Showing his dominance as one of the best players in the state of Oregon. May in the corner puts up a 3. It falls short of the rim. Warriors don't come up with the rebound. Brown does instead. He'll try and take it coast to coast. Dishes it off to Wallace in the paint. Chad Russell denies him at the rack. And Peters collects it, hands it off to Beardsley, who now stands at center stage. Throws it over to Kramer on the far side, and Anderson nearly jumping the pass. Beardsley on the near side with a contest from Hall. His contest good, but not good enough to stop May from getting the rebound and putting up a second chance. He doesn't get that to go either, though. And the Warriors' 2 chances fall short. Hall coming the other direction on Beardsley, trying to work his magic. He throws it out to Anderson on the far side. Driving, he float game, and you can see the foul on that one as a late whistle, but foul sure enough coming on Kramer as he slapped his arm. Kramer fouled out of the game last game and not in that too much foul trouble today. That's only his first personal foul. Second team foul for Philomath here in this second half. A couple of substitutions coming in for the challengers. The freshman with the nice handle in shot. He's quite a playmaker. Derek Farmer. And Francowiak also coming back into the game. Had several steals in last game. He looked to try and continue to create havoc for Philomath on the defensive end, as he can at the offensive end too with his 3-point shooting. Preston Kramer comes up the court after the 2 missed free throws from the challengers. Anderson missing both. Kramer with the ball, guarded by Francowiak with the arm defending. May inside, makes a no-look handoff to Russell. Russell misses his shot and loses the ball out of bounds as it's tipped away by the challengers, coming off the hands of Farmer. Warriors will set up out of bounds on the far side corner. Kramer, the inbounder, looks to get it in. He does to Chad Russell on the arc. Kramer guarded heavily with no little space as he drives on Francowiak. Rolls one off his fingers and in for 2. Maurer driving on Russell on the far side, tries to go up on both May and Russell. Russell denies him, though, once again. He denied him twice tonight. Russell on the edge, drives and said, let me get a piece of that. He does, and catches Maurer off guard in the paint. Makes him slip a little bit. Warriors finding some energy here to end the third quarter. They lead 37-30 with just a little over a minute left to go. Farmer driving on Peters. It's stripped away. May going to the floor, a scary fall. And both teams going for a scramble, and it's a kickball called on the Warriors, so Challengers will keep possession. Great play by Chad Russell. Although Maurer has been the leading scorer today for either team, he has still held it down as best as he could for a guy who has sights at a Division I scholarship. He launches a three. He misses. Rising up and coming down with the rebound is Jacob Peters. Cole Beardsley coming up the other way, nearly dropping it, slipping Frankowiak. He thought about a shot, too, to finish it off, but didn't take it. Kramer circling around the arc. Man, Cole Beardsley with a nice handle and a nice stroke as well. He's fouled by Frankowiak, who can't seem to catch up with the movements of Beardsley. Anderson checking in for Frankowiak, who clearly cannot keep up with the all-state caliber play of Cole Beardsley. Beardsley one-on-one with his large defender that he has had throughout this game, Hall. Kramer on the far side, guarded by Anderson, gets it to May, inside to Peters at the low block. He rises up, isn't able to bank that one in off the glass, but Chad Russell gets it at the low block, swings it out to May for a three, rattles in and out, and Maurer trying to come over the top for the rebound is fouled by Chad Russell, who's called for his second personal foul. And Chad Russell nearly trying to intercept that pass off the inbound. He doesn't get it. Hall drawing coast to coast. Tries to get one at the buzzer. Misses that one. And the Warriors with some strong energy on both ends of the floor, making moves, leading 37-30 with a final quarter left to play before they can claim the championship. Shall they do it? And the handles from the Warrior guards, especially Cole Beardsley, being on display. Even Chad Russell there at the low block putting on the moves, as he had had enough from Maurer working him on the other end. Tried to show him a piece of his mind, and he certainly has, creating a frustrating night for him and his team, as the Challengers are held to just 30 points after games in the first two where they've scored 74 and 61 respectively. But the fourth quarter is key here, as I mentioned early on, that the Warriors have let both of their opponents at this tournament back into the game. They let Redmond hang around late in the game, nearly took it from them in Junction City. That was down 46-26, 20 points at the start of the fourth quarter. Pulled it back within 7, 56-49, the final yesterday. So the Warriors really have to bunker down on their defensive end, and as well as continue to add cushion offensively to ensure that their lead will be safe from the Challengers to challenge. Philomath starts with the ball to start this fourth quarter of play, with Preston Kramer set the inbound to Cole Beardsley. He does. Beardsley throwing it over to May. May back over to the top to Russell. Russell at the top of the key. Gets it over to Kramer. Kramer looking for an option. He gets one in. Beardsley, who drives to the rack in as he floated through the air, tipped it up and in. Maurer looking backside cut. It's stolen away by Beardsley. He soars down the court. No look pass attempt. His attempt also stealed, paying back the favor. Maurer gets it up the court to Hall, who takes it coast to coast and lays it in. Beardsley at midcourt. Crosses over Hall. Has that Allen Iverson look crossover with that head fake. Russell dishes it to Beardsley at the top of the key with Hall. Still guarding him with a hand stretched out. He crosses him over. Nearly a hand check foul. It isn't called, though. Beardsley looking for May. May dishes inside. On the backside cut, he takes some contact and puts it up and over and not into the rim. Hall at midcourt. Circling around. Gets it to Anderson. Inside to Maurer. Backing down on Russell and goes over the top and puts it in. And 1-2. He'll have the chance to make it a 3-point play and cut it to a 4-point lead. It's the second personal foul coming on Preston Kramer. Couple of substitutions made by Cascade Christian. It'll be shorter Maurer coming out of the game. While Brown checks in, Maurer sinks the free throw. Has yet to take a rest other than halftime. Same goes for Cole Beardsley. May on the baseline. Fires a three over the top and misses. And rolls out of bounds off the hands of Philomath. 6:09 left. Philomath in front, 39-35. Drew Hall taking it up on Cole Beardsley. He makes a couple crossovers, gets it to Maurer on the right elbow. Pump fakes, catches Russell jumping, and drives to the rack and is fouled. It appears to be on time A. It is. And he'll go to the free throw line again, and Warriors getting a little too antsy, and very solid as he is with his handle and his ball fakes and with his lengthy frame, can really control his frame. Maurer, also a successful free throw shooter, has been perfect tonight from the stripe. As now with the chance to make it a one-possession game, and as we have all feared, the Philomath Warriors have let the Cascade Christian Challengers back into it. As it stands at a one-possession game, 2 points between the two teams. Beardsley working the far side. He crosses over Hall. Gets it over to Kramer, guarded by Frankowiak. Back into the game. Back to Beardsley, swinging it to May on the far corner. Gets it over the top, a risky pass to Peters. Trying to save it. Frankowiak throws it back into Peters, says thank you, and gives it up to Beardsley, who bounces off the rim and into the hands of Maurer. Maurer swinging it up the court. Frankowiak trying to take it to the rack. He immediately dribbles it out of bounds, throws it to Brown. Brown drives midcourt. The mid-range jumper goes. As we are all tied up, 39 apiece. 5 minutes left. Philomath trying to find some offensive life. Beardsley called for a travel as the ball fell on his hip. You can feel the energy sort of shifting towards Cascade Christian. Frankowiak gets it into Hall. Hall at the free throw line is Maurer. Pump fakes Russell, who jumps once again, but doesn't pay for it this time as Maurer misses, and Cole Beardsley down at the low block gets the rebound, rising above the 7-footer. Maurer crosses over Hall at midcourt. Beardsley gets it to Kramer at the baseline, takes a shot, bounces, and goes into the rim. After several bounces up top, Kramer's shot takes a lucky bounce in through the hoop. Frankowiak dishing it to the corner. It's Wallace collecting the pass. Back over to Frankowiak. Wallace still in the corner. Frankowiak driving and a timeout taken A little physical struggle between May and Francoyac at the end of the play. But Cascade Christian within 2. Philomath with the 2-point slim advantage after that lucky bounce from Preston Kramer. Getting the Warriors on the board here in the fourth quarter frame with just half of it elapsed. 4:05 left. And a great game between these two schools and atop both of their divisions classifications to say. Cascade Christian in the 3A classification, Philomath atop the 4A. And the Mauer, the reigning 3A player of the year, making a case for that prospect to get, considering he did that as only a sophomore and has elevated his game certainly as a junior. And they lost composure late in the game defensively and let Hidden Valley hit a lot of shots down the stretch, although the game was all but put to an end late in the game there with a much larger part of difference. They have certainly not lost composure here in the first part of the first quarter and don't seem like they're going to have any signs of letting up. Peyton Mauer will inbound it. Throws it up and out to no one. This rolls into the Les Schwab sign at the back of the gym. Beardsley will take it up for Philomath. Nearly stripped away. Kramer collects the ball. Tries to get it on a pass to Beardsley, but it's intercepted by Wallace. As Hall gets Cascade Christian back with the ball. Hall looking for an option. He finds Frankoliak, who drives and kicks it out to Wallace. A wide open 3 from the corner. He misses. And scrambling down low for the rebound. Beardsley swings it up the court, and Time making an effort to try and chase it down, but isn't able to get there in time as the ball rolls out of bounds. Just over 3 minutes left. The Warriors lead 41-39. A slim margin of advantage. Hall dishes it to Peyton Mauer. At the right elbow, it's Wallace. Driving on Peters. Tries to go up strong at the left block. And a foul, or travel called on Wallace at the low block as he drove. Frankoliak will check out. Anderson back into the game. Warriors setting up their offense. Looking to work their pick and roll game. Time nearly loses the ball from Cole Beardsley, and recovering it is Peters, who has given the Warriors so many second chances at life throughout his tenure at the Philomath High School. May gets it to Beardsley inside to Russell. Works his physicality and is called for the offensive foul as Wallace fell to the ground. Set right up there with his feet stuck to the ground. Brown checking into the game with Wallace heading to the sideline. Two and a half left. Same score. Hall on the left side with Beardsley. Giving it to Mauer. Launches up one from the free throw line and called for a foul. On the attempted rebound was his brother Peyton Mauer. It's the second team foul for the Challengers in this second half. The Warriors with 6, one away from putting the Challengers at the free throw line, shooting 1-1. Beardsley on the left side dishes it to Kramer. Works around the arc. Inside to at the left elbow. It's Russell. He hands off to Beardsley. Beardsley at the baseline, circling around Hall. Playing his games. Clock hits 2 minutes. The dish inside to Russell, looking for a backside option. He drives up himself, tries to go up and under Mauer. He's denied twice. And a foul called on the floor. It is on Mauer. who got called for one on the shot attempt from Russell. Beardsley, the inbounder on the far baseline. Gets it to Peters over the top of the arc. Beardsley back around from Russell at the top of the key usual. Gets it to Kramer on the near side. Within arm distance, Anderson stands. Gets it to Peters, back at the top of the arc. Beardsley driving from the left elbow. He's stuck at the baseline. Back up to Kramer. 90 seconds left in the game. Kramer circling around, giving it off to May. And a sketchy pass nearly intercepted. But Russell able to recover. Gives it to Kramer at the top of the arc. Back to Beardsley in the near side. He holds the ball. Circling around the arc. Challengers have to fouls to give. Beardsley with a minute left in the game. The Warriors still with just a 2-point lead. He drives inside. Russell trying to go up. He dishes it outside. It's stolen away. Hall on the fast break. One-on-one with Beardsley. He Euro steps in the lane and reverse layups it in. We're all tied up, folks, 41-41. These are the moments you live for. We saw a similar type finish just last game with the girls. Can the boys pull it off and not go to overtime? Peters at the top of the key. It's deflected by Hall. The Warriors with 30 seconds left on the clock need a bucket. Who will be the guy to do it? Coach Ecker will see as he burns his timeout. It's been an exciting game. Couple of championship games here at Marshfield High School. Definitely the tension's building up, and the Warriors will certainly be looking not necessarily for a three, although that could be a possibility for Beardsley, considering he has 3 tonight. But Russell also doing well inside, but it's hard to get a look with the dominating presence of Maurer being in there. We'll see what Coach Ecker will draw up on his whiteboard. And we'll see what the challengers will draw up as they seek to defend and have their own kind of chance on the other end. So the Warriors can certainly not stall out. They obviously have to score, and if they do score, the challengers will get an equal chance to come back the other direction, and the Warriors certainly don't want to foul, as that would send the challengers at a 1-on-1 attempt, but you never know. It'll all depend on a hypothetical situation that the Warriors get a 2 or a 3. Preston Kramer, the inbounder on the far side. Trying to find an inbound. He gets it to Beardsley on the far side, guarded by Hall tightly. He spins around the other direction. Clock hits 20 seconds. Peters working around the arc, gets it to Russell. Russell has the ball at the top of the key as a timeout is called by Blake Ecker, and he'll take a full timeout to discuss with his team. And it looks like a kind of lackadaisical type offense there as the Warriors evaporate 15 seconds off the play clock. Not able to get much going, and Blake Ecker can clearly see that the pressure of the challengers, as it has all game, is certainly getting to the Warriors here down the stretch. They have not been able to find their shot separation. And with the strong three-point shooting from Maurer at times, there is only 16.2 seconds left. The Warriors only have so much time at a chance. If you're Blake Ecker, do you wind down the clock and give your clutch player, Cole Beardsley, a chance at the final say before overtime? Or do you try and get a quick bucket and give yourself a little bit of options? The Warriors break the huddle. We'll see if second try works around in his new scheme that Coach Ecker schemed up. The inbound to Beardsley. On the far side, guarded by Hall heavily. 10 seconds on the clock. Kramer on the near side, circling around the arc. Finds May. Clock at 5. Warriors need a shot. May struggling. At the buzzer, it's Beardsley. It bounces up and over. So Beardsley with the final shot. The Warriors decided to milk down the clock. Potentially tried to draw a foul there, maybe get to the free throw line as Cole Beardsley pulls his jersey, looking for a hand check possibly on the shot. But Philomath had a chance at the buzzer. They don't get it to drop through. And for the second straight championship game here at the 20th annual South Coast Holiday Classic, we are headed to overtime. The boys will seek to not have the same result that the women had in the overtime period where they blew their chances there at the South Coast Holiday Tournament Championship. 4 minutes to play, both teams with championship hopes beyond just this tournament. Warriors have struggled to find offensive life, and both teams also mainly have struggled to find offensive life, combined only 81 points in this game. Neither team scoring over 50 quite yet. The typical mark you usually see from these Philomath teams, if not more. The Warriors ready to go with their entire lineup on the floor as their teammates stand by. Mason Stearns, Hudson Robb, Connor Harms, Owen Heiken, Brody Bushnell, and Caden Meir all on the sideline, cheering on their teammates on the floor. Kramer, Russell, May, Beardsley, Jacob Peters. Just as we started this game, we'll start a new game, overtime. 0-0 it is. It's Maurer and May come into contact at the tip. We'll redo it. And the tip goes off the hands of one of the tip mates. It's Maurer. Warrior will get the first chance at points. Beardsley inbounds to Kramer, who takes it up as the point guard. Possibly an adjustment. Blake Ecker is looking to get Cole Beardsley more involved in the shooting game. Beardsley circles around the baseline as Kramer at the top of the key. Works to drive. He loses the ball. It's collected by Russell. Russell in some trouble. Takes a couple dribbles. Backs down Maurer. Pump fakes. Gets it to Peters. Peters circling around the arc. And Kramer back at the top of the key. Retreats to the logo. Gives it off to May. May dribbling right. He's stopped by the Peyton Maurer. Gets it to Peters in the mid-key. Back off to May. And the Warriors still struggling to find an offensive look as a minute has evaporated here in the overtime period. Kramer with the ball up top. Gives it to Beardsley. Thought about a shot. Gives it back to Kramer. May with the ball. Stands there. Drives. Step back. Gives it to Beardsley on the far side. He works around the screen. Settles at the free throw line. Loses the ball nearly. Gives it to Russell. Back to Beardsley off the handoff. On the near side. He's working on Hall. Off to May on the far side. Minute and a half. The Warriors have maintained possession, yet without a shot attempt at all. Beardsley coming off the screen. Maurer switches on him, leaving a defender open. Looking over the top, hucking it off the backboard. May. Russell chases it down. Beardsley with the ball. He drives, hands it to Kramer, and a strong defensive hold for the challengers. 2 minutes evaporated. We're halfway through overtime, and the Warriors yet to take a shot attempt, and the only ones who have controlled the ball. Kramer is called for 5, and electricity coming through the veins of the challengers, who certainly challenged the Warriors at the other end of the floor. And Kramer holding on to the ball too long. The Warriors unable to find an option in 2 minutes and 8 seconds of time. And now they have to do the same and hunker down on their own defense to try and stop the challengers. Cascade Christian. Hall driving right, stuck at the elbow. He drives left, puts up a shot. It rattles in and out. Peters with the big hands comes down with the rebound. Critical rebound for the Warriors, who now quickly regain possession as the challengers force a shot and a foul called. Beardsley draws it, but the challengers not quite in bonus yet, with 4 team fouls. That was the first on Hall, despite the physical matchup he's had between Beardsley. Kramer to inbound, gets it to Russell. Kramer hands it off to Beardsley. Still 41-41. Neither team yet to score in overtime. Kramer on the baseline. Pump fakes. Double time. Circles around the arc. He drives to his right, hands off to Beardsley. Step back. He hesitates. Continuing to dribble. He crosses over. Hall gets it out to Russell on the edge. Doesn't want to take a shot from there. It's stripped away. Maurer trying to go to the floor. And it's stripped away by Hall in the other direction. May, the older defender. He goes up for the block. And a foul called as he went up. So Hall will get the chance at the free throw line with 52.2 seconds left. And by the looks of it, the Warriors haven't even gotten an offensive shot. They're really going to have to find something, or at least manage to draw 3 fouls to try and get to the free throw line. Hall rattles the first in and out as Philomath fans erupt, and a timeout taken in between the shots to see what the challengers will possibly do if there is a miss, which would be quite miraculous for the Warriors, who would catch a large break there. But if they do make it, the Warriors have the chance to take the lead just with a 2-point bucket is all they need. 52.2 seconds left. We're still all tied up, 41-41. In what has been a defensive battle. It's just a battle. Guys working down low, and you can see it, especially Cascade Christian. Those guys are closing in on these Warrior shooters. And they've really limited what Cole Beardsley has been able to do in the second half. They saw him catch fire in the first. It's been more quiet in the second half. But the Warriors have been able to stay neck and neck, continuing to battle down the stretch. They stand at the block with Kramer outside the arc. Hall the deciding free throw. Dribbles once, throws it up, bounces off the back iron into the hands of the Warriors. 2 costly free throws that Hall is unable to put in. The Warriors with possession with a chance to ice it. Beardsley dishes inside. Russell on the reverse layup. He puts it in. Warriors take the lead. 35 seconds left to go. The first points of overtime for either team. Hall dishes it. Maurer at the elbow with Russell. He drives, kicks it out to Wallace. Peters jumps too early, going up strong. Wallace misses and into the hands of May. And the Warriors can likely just rebound it out. It's fouled by Hall, who claps in frustration. He screams. The Warriors with still having 2 fouls before they can get to the free throw line. Coach Ecker making that evident, signaling 2 to his teammates, to his team. Peters on the inbound, has to find one. And Kramer gets it, and he'll be fouled immediately by Anderson. 14.2 on the clock. The challengers still have 1 foul to give before the Warriors will be forced to go to the line. Chad Russell has been struggling to get past Maurer all game, has been giving him equally as much trouble. Beardsley is fouled. It's a 16th foul. Or 7th team foul. The scoreboard was wrong. So they'll go to the line with Beardsley coming up critically at the free throw line last game. Had a great day from the line. 12 of 14 made free throws, a part of his 20-point performance against Junction City yesterday. These come in the biggest moments. The clutch kid sinks the first with a chance to ice it, making a two-point possession. Blocked in the zone. He rattles it home. The Warriors clearly not trying to foul. Clock under 10. Hall defended by Maurer. Puts up a three. Long range. It's rebounded by May at the low block and fouled immediately. 3.1 seconds left. The Warriors in a good position to secure the win. Patience, patience, patience. If I have learned anything from this game today, it is that Blake Ecker and his team are patient for the look they want. It took them until the final minute of overtime to score a bucket. And they got it as Chad Russell, as big as he is, just slipped away and got inside and dropped that one in off the backboard. And now Ty May with his chance as a leader of this team to have the final say with his free throws to put this one to bed. An exciting matchup between these two teams on both fronts, both women and men. May's free throws go in, and the final shot comes from Hall, and a foul coming by Beardsley. Blake Ecker red in the face, anticipating celebration, shaking his head right now as no need to give up any extra room. Beardsley fouling him. But the Warriors still with a 6-point lead, only 2 seconds left. Hall puts in the first. He missed the two critical ones that could have gained the challengers the lead. And they take a timeout as the Warriors will head to the sideline. As Hall will have the chance at 3 free throws, meaning that with a three-pointer, they would be able to tie it up. But if he makes the third, then he will have to immediately foul, sending the Warriors a chance at the line where they've been so good. May putting in those last two. He put in quite a few yesterday, 8 of 9 from the stripe. Chloe Beardsley, knowing that that was a costly mistake on his part, an uncharacteristic foul, although he did have 4 yesterday, with 4 of the 5 starters of Philomath having 4 fouls on the day yesterday. Kramer fouling out, but he has 3 fouls to give still. Warriors and challengers both in bonus, regular bonus. Free throw of Hall goes through. Warriors lead by 3. Some confusion on the floor, looking for the inbound call. Peter set to inbound with the bunch between Beardsley, May, and Kramer. They break apart. Kramer gets the ball. He travels up the court, and that'll do it. Philomath wins the South Coast Holiday Tournament for the 2nd consecutive year by a final score of 47-44. What a showing by the Warriors here in this tournament. They were tested throughout. Had some of their fiercest competition of the year, facing the number 2 team in 5A against Redmond. No problem. They took down Junction City again, making sure that one wasn't a fluke. And now they defeat in their biggest battle yet in the overtime period by a clutch basket and clutch free throws from Chad Russell, Beardsley, and Ty May, all contributing in that to claim the victory and the championship. How sweet it is. And the Warriors keep their undefeated season alive nonetheless as they improve to 8-0 on the year. What a start to this season for Philomath basketball. And I'm sure they will have great recognition on the all-tournament team. It's the most the Warriors have been tested all season long, and definitely have that state tournament type environment as they did here in the spring. And as the PA announcer says, he hopes these both teams will be in March as he expects them to. It's sad to see that they won't be here at the Marshfield venue once again. It's such a great venue and great environment. It'll be at Forest Grove this year with Philomath in the 4A. Looking to rub off those bad memories from the 2020 tournament, the last time they played there, when that tournament was canceled due to the COVID-19 outbreak, when the whole world shut down. The championship presentation underway. Cole Beardsley was a part of the all-state tournament team, as was Ty May last season in the spring, averaging 13.2 points per game in a stellar performance to try and get his team a championship. Wasn't able to get it done. Warriors came up fourth in that one, but they come up victorious on top today.
So I would like to recognize Cascade High School,
Drew Hall, part of the first team for Cascade Christian, had a solid effort and a great defender in the second half. Although he is great offensively, his defense was the more impressive part, shutting down Cole Beardsley in the second half. And Chad Russell, a first-team member, due to his critical play down the stretch, especially in this championship game. And the clutch bucket that gave the Warriors the lead. And his defensive play on an Oregon State possibility in Maurer, who is also a first-team mentor, joined alongside him. Chad Russell had his eyes on Maurer from the time he walked into the gym. He knew he was going to be matched up with him, and he certainly lived up to the task. Ty May joining on the first team with his teammates and giving the Warriors the advantage with the most first-team members. Your South Coast Holiday Tournament MVP, Cole Beardsley. He keeps his double-digit scoring streak alive with an outstanding performance today with 3 triples, along with some critical free throws down the stretch. Ice cold bird. And the championship trophy to be handed to your Philomath High School Warriors, the 2022 South Coast Holiday Tournament champions. They win it in overtime, 47-44. And what has been a fantastic weekend all weekend long. Thank you to all who tuned in to all the coverage, for Blake Ecker and the rest of the team for allowing me to travel with them this weekend and develop some bonding relationships. Thank you all so very much for tuning into the Blake's Take live stream. You can keep up on more that's going on. Unfortunately, I'm not able to stay much in tune to the Philomath athletic scene anymore, but glad to be back with my hometown team on the holiday break. But you can keep up on all that's going on local and national sports from the Arizona State Valley, where that's where I'm located now here at school. But whatever it may be, Philomath is the champions tonight, and they will celebrate a Merry Christmas the rest of the way, and they will resume action after the holiday at the Ketchikan tournament over in Alaska. And you can tune into that over on the live stream over there. But for Blake Neiman, I thank you all for tuning in and wish you all a blessed holiday and a very Merry Christmas. And God bless you all with a wonderful night.